Check one, two, check, check, check. This is another episode of Ozone's Lair. Hello, welcome to today's topic of the Citizens Assembly meeting, leadership meeting digest of April 1st, 2021. This is kind of going over a recap of today's meeting for those who did not attend or want the short version. We covered a lot of good things. A lot of great information was shared. We got to network, got to talk with some people all across the world. There was a presentation by Alpha 214, which I kind of missed the tail end of that. So I can kind of start there. The dude was saying something about meshtastic.org. is about deploying web service in remote areas. I think they got a pretty good company that does that. Alpha 24. So that's the thing to check out if you're into deploying new technology to third world countries. Elevating or uplifting the third world is part of the name of the game, because they're the early adopters. They have the most to gain. So the margins on there is pretty good. For example, Cardano is running programs in Ada in Africa right now. Go to Gorgon, I think it's a Gordon stuff for more information. Moving right along, we are the Karma Coin from Illinois is a way to validate the shadow economy. It's about creating commerce for the local community. So that's let's put that on your radar, shall we? What else we got? So the big thing, the shadow economy is like 1.7 trillion worldwide. So I think there's definitely a market share for that. My notes are pretty bad. Yes, division. The segregation or subdivision of cultures, I think that needs to be addressed. I don't know quite exactly how they were referring to subdivision, but it's definitely an issue that's been brought up. So this is more or less the agenda items for today's meeting, which we kind of gone over. So moving right along, something about skate parks. Nationwide skate parks and trying to get community buy-in. So there's a dude pushing skate parks in Portland, Texas, and Minnesota. So look into that. So back to the technology side. So there's a thing called Cantena. I'm gonna try to take a look at the thing. So it's kind of similar to Helium. It's a non-fungible token which people can donate. Cantena and Athena, Athens or something. I'll have to look more about it. My notes are bad. It was kind of quick. So basically, it's an NFT broadband reputation economy with carbon offsets, and hopefully, what they're trying to do is provide gratuity or payment for peacemakers in the area. So let's stay tuned to that. So this is where the Age Agenda meetings kind of got into it. So kind of do some more research on the third industrial revolution. Meshtastic.org, Alpha 214, and then coupon.info at a Facebook group. That's QPON at info.com. The other one is the Citizen Network TV. I think that's some of the members are doing some of the Citizens broadcasting, Citizens Assembly broadcasting of the Citizens Network TV. So stay tuned for that. There's a thing called Thousand Oaks. They're doing a local project out there with ham radios. One of our network members are into that. So feel free to stay tuned for that. Another thing is called OtterBox was brought up for transcription for notes and meeting taking. It's a voice to speech AI that's fairly robust. So if you wanted to take my voice and put it into text and spit it out into a paper form, that would be the app for you. And yes, there's apps for that. So that is kind of the overview of what happened today. So that's what that is. Previously, in another episode, Cesare and I spent about 3 hours just hashing out some ideology and seeing kind of what the overall big picture of what we're going to go through. So here it is. Reference the Rastafarian movement and how the dude went to the UN to claim sovereignty and how it's possible. So it's also mentioned space. Land claims. Do you need a land claim to be a sovereign state? And I say no. The legal team here is looking for a case to bring to the UN so they can make the argument. The argument is this. There's a 2-foot space per person. So let's just call it 5 square feet per person of personal space in my little bubble. See right here, this little box? That is my autonomy zone. Ozone's Northland Free State, or in this case, the Sunshine Free State. So, with that said, 5 square feet per person times 100,000 is enough to claim territory. So, my personal 2 feet square, or my personal 5 square feet times everybody else in the network, in theory, as to what our legal argument is going to be about in the constitutional congressional thing, is like we, the undersigned, are declaring our sovereignty to supersede. So it's a declaration of supersession. I believe so. It's the declaration of supersedence. So it's a declaration of independence. It's a declaration of supersedence by these 5,000 people, the undersigned. So, with that said, 5 times 100,000 is like 500,000 square feet. It's a couple acres. I think that's the minimum requirement of the UN to qualify as a state or a recognized state, and then you can make the case to the UN. That's the big goal. I don't know if it's within reach anytime soon, but things are moving forward. So Igora is a good example of that. The overall general movement, in my opinion. Moving right along, we kind of took a hard look at privilege rights, privileges and freedoms. The word entitlements, voting powers is some of the buzzwords. Excuse me. Got a thing in my throat. Gonna do the thing. Yeah, right. Okay, here it is. So, voting powers, privileges, entitlements, and freedoms. Please check Igor out for the updates on those particular ideologies. Yes, it was very insightful. It was 3 hours of a really engaging processes. So I'm really thankful for that. That was good. So let's see here. My notes are terrible. So everybody gets to be the battleship. Validated communities. Oh man, my notes are so bad. Okay, so basically where we left off is that there's going to be a definition of terms page. How I define terms, and then how other members define terms. So what does freedom mean to me? What does freedom mean to you? Please leave your comments below. Please go to igora-ilp.org and fill out your ideological profile to let everybody know what your definitions of terms are. What is free will? What it is not? What does determinism mean to you? What it is not? And hopefully we can derive at a consensus and elevate each other's knowledge and inform their opinions. So we got, and then the overcomplication of breaking it down into county, city, state, in the municipal form. We're still kind of working that out, whether or not we can put them all in one basket of municipalities of, like, say, in my case, Duluth, Minnesota, or is it really necessary to break it out into county, state, and so on. I believe it is, because each level has its own levels of policy. There is some overlap. Some of them don't. It's about interest. If a person has a particular interest in their county, that can happen. So, with that said, let's move into the next thing. Like literally 5 hours today, almost 5-6 hours. It's a full-time job. The revolution will not be televised. It will be broadcast and mirrored in 10,000 different sites across the world, globally. So, get that in mind. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, buddy. Whoop, whoop. There it is. Okay. Moving right along. Okay, we also talked about shares. EGOS as the Agora token or means of exchange of shares. So there's a particular dividend scheme in the works. We kind of talked a little bit about it. I don't have a full understanding yet of the process, but we're going to figure it out. What I would recommend is tokenmint.io. Tokenmint.io on the Ethereum blockchain. So you can create your own token pretty simply with a little bit of effort. So Agora could have their own token. We can generate some funds here pretty quick. And that was really the point of the nonprofit discussions, how to incorporate, and so on. So my recommendations are as follows. Agora development platform could be a co-op, so it'd be run by the members of the workers, the developers, the coders, the people that actually participate in the program, rather than a presidential, hierarchical, top-down kind of approach. So we can maintain some level of co-op structure and still be able to be profitable as a contractor of the International Logic Party. So with that said, the International Logic Party could accept nonprofit funds, grant funds, and then hire the for-profit businesses to run the contracts. So yeah, so Agora technically works for ILP. ILP gets the money from grants to do the projects, and they can decide based on merit and who gets to be contracted to work to fulfill the roles of the International Logic Party. So, moving right along. So that leads us to the Citizens Assembly. So that's more the coalition. That's more of the more public view. I still think there's a lot of discussion to be had, like who gets to maintain that, who gets to manage it, and try to maintain that as a decentralized platform. I really think it boils down to the different breakout rooms. So a person could manage their own network as far as content goes, such as a Citizens Network TV, and like the Emergency Reality Network can manage their own network, manage their own assemblies in the network that they broadcast, streaming services, all that kind of stuff. So I really think that decision will get broken down into the breakout committees. For example, I think Stacy does a Citizen Assemblies for Women. And I think her agency or her team, the people that she works with on a regular basis, can register as a local business to manage that entity as itself. And then that can be duplicated across the board, thousands of reiterations across the country. So you can have a Texas assembly, California, Minnesota, Arizona, etc., Reno. As many as you need, because diversity is a key here. More the merrier. Many hands make light work. That's the buzzword. So, moving right along. So, we're talking about Bitcoins, Egos token. We're talking about minute meetings, Google Docs. So, we got that, what do you call that? In-house housekeeping kind of material. So, I think Lois chose to step up to become the next secretary. So that's good. I do appreciate her time for that. Because I don't want to be a secretary, and I mean we can appoint an intern from one of our teams, but we kind of got busy doing other stuff right now. So moving right along, the mesh technology I think is really good for remote access broadcasting. So if we're gonna do the Zoom thing on a regular, and it's going to be important to do that offshore, 200 miles offshore in our own little spot. So back to seasteading. Seastead. If you're going to be a sovereign state, different miles in international water depends on different regulations. And the point is we only need one GPS coordinate with a buoy. We need an active transponder on a buoy at a particular location that we can register. Say we exist at this location. So with that said, for example, the Northland Free State exists at GPS unknown coordinates because we haven't set it up yet. And once we do that, then we can say, well, we exist here. These 50,000 signatures of 50,000 people exist there, and we're going to claim our own sovereignty, which means we declare our own passports, we declare our own visas, claim our own diplomatic status, and then we could get to grow up and talk to Uncle Sam on his own terms. So he's a nation, we're a nation. It's literally growing up in the laws of commerce. So if you want to get more involved in the sovereign citizen movement, I'll be happy to go into that later. But basically, personhood versus birth. So anyway, we'll skip that completely for right now. But Cesari's on board with the whole big picture ideas, and I think that's okay. I think that's just fine. So we're now at 16 minutes of me yapping. This is a really long video. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please leave a comment below. Please hit subscribe. Click the notification button. Hit the like button if you want to stay updated. Please be advised that you have been advised. Tomorrow has been canceled due to lack of interest. Thank you for your participation in humanity. This has been a recording of the Emergency Reality Network. Peace. Yo. Push the button. There it goes. Nope. One more time. Push the button. Here goes. Boop.